Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynn@pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hello there. Welcome to the show. Quick heads up that we're expecting one of our monthly fire alarm drills. At any second, the show will usually pause, interrupted by some screams from me on occasion, but I don't know. We're also hoping that Susan wakes up there in Pacific time to call in to the show. She texted me last night saying she intended to. We'll see. We'll see. Damn thing. I'm sitting, I don't want to get started and then be interrupted, but I have a feeling that's going to happen. Would that we could have a fire alarm during the president's address from the Oval Office tonight at 9 o'clock. You know, after all, if he's going to tell us we're facing a national security crisis and a humanitarian crisis caused, of course, by his policies. Fire alarm would be like, it'd be a wonderful sort of little addendum, I would think. Well, the fire alarm is late. Things, trains don't run on time. The fire alarms don't start when they're supposed to. God, dang it. I, initially, when I heard that Trump was doing this thing, I thought, well, I can't possibly. I cannot be expected to trouble my already troubled mind close to bedtime by having to ingest in any way, visually, audibly, in any way, this horrific human being's blatherings, especially when he's going to do what we all suspect he's going to do. Of course, lie through his teeth. Is Susan here? Okay, great. All right. Hi, Suze.
Hi. Sorry, my phone, the cell phone was not allowing me to call in, but I did what any thinking person does. I rebooted my phone.
And it works now.
It worked.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you're with us. I've warned the audience already that we are supposedly going to endure a fire alarm today. But usually that's.
Can it come tonight instead and drown out Trump?
Susan, I just said the same thing.
You did?
Yeah. God, I did. So.
Well, we have the familial brain. What can I say?
Jeez. It's. Yeah, I just said the same thing, and I don't know why it hasn't started. Damn it! I don't want to start the show and then be interrupted by it. It's already 4 minutes late, so I guess I have to get going and then be interrupted.
It's like the commercial for the Ellen DeGeneres game show where she tortures people by dropping the floor out from underneath them, and she makes them wait and wait and wait.
What is I've never watched that show. I've only seen the.
I haven't either.
And I'm thinking it just seems.
Kind of humor.
No, what is funny about dropping the floor out from under people? I don't get it. And it's beyond me. This is what people enjoy. I don't get it. I don't get much of anything.
It's the sort of mean-spirited fun that people like to say is it's all fine because everybody's a willing participant and we're all laughing at ourselves. But the fact of the matter is that's bullshit. We're laughing at that poor woman being terrified that she knows that the floor is about to drop out from underneath her. I don't get roller coasters either. See, I don't think
Well,
that's
I
fun.
don't either.
Some people actually find that fun.
Right. But then, look, I don't get it. And it seems to run counter to Ellen DeGeneres' sort of, sweet public image. I don't get it.
Yeah, but
I
don't either.
I don't understand.
I
There's
think she's
none of
getting
these shows.
tired of that.
Yeah, I do too. I did read somewhere that her stand-up act is an attempt to disengage herself a bit from that, from her daytime persona. Oh, who gives a shit? And where is the goddamn fire alarm? I wonder if anybody heard me. I think they might have. Susan, so the president.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think, so tonight is he going? First of all, it just pisses me off that all the networks are, rolling over and giving
they
him.
Capitulated. Right. There was a shining moment when it looked like none of them would do it.
Well, they actually didn't immediately, and they sat, and then they clearly caved. I saw one executive say what is true, that if we don't give him the time, he will, of course, use that to say that we are biased and purveyors of fake news. And if we do give him the time, we then aid and abet him in spreading lies, fear, who knows what. So I really think the smartest thing is something I saw, which is air it with a 5-minute delay and constant correction.
Fact check it.
A fact check.
Yeah.
I'm serious. That's what you do.
I think so too.
And I know that the Democrats have asked for time after for a rebuttal or a fact check, and I haven't heard that they've been given it. Obviously,
I haven't heard that either, but I go back and forth about whether I think that's a good idea because, then it just becomes whenever a president speaks, the other side gets to rebut, and I really feel that this is a special circumstance, and the only argument that I would make that it deserves a rebuttal is because every appearance he makes is essentially a campaign.
Right. Speech. Yeah.
And a campaign speech and not any serious discussion of current events and his policy towards such. And the second that he veers off into clearly political speech, that is when I would have the Democrats saying, okay, now we want equal time. But to do it before then, I think is, just setting up a precedent that you might be upset that you established when you're president.
Okay. Good point. We have callers lining up, so we better get to them. Caller number 1. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Lynn. Hey, Susan. It's Kristen. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
We're fine. Good morning.
I'm good. Ellen DeGeneres, I had to laugh when you talked about the floor dropping out because I've watched, just going through the channels, and I've seen that she also has people come out dressed up as gorillas or spiders to scare people, but I never knew about the floor dropping out from people.
Yeah, they fall. It looks like a long way, into water, obviously, or something.
No, it's a mattress.
Oh, a mattress.
That's terrible.
Well, you could hurt yourself. They must.
Oh, sure.
Well, I'm sure they figured out a way that people don't get hurt, or they would have been sued by now. But she's got a whole game show that is predicated on the misery of others.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Stupid.
And not my cup of tea.
No. Well, there we go.
I just sort of roll my eyes and change the channel as usual.
That's right. It's time for a little HGTV.
Exactly.
Oh God.
But also, as far as this whole Trump thing, I just refuse to watch tonight. I'm not doing it. Sorry, I can't.
I understand.
I cannot. Listen to 7 or 8 minutes of him lying incessantly, and then, of course, puffing himself up that he's going to be the big hero and the Democrats are horrible and not going to do it.
Okay, totally understand. And well, enjoy.
As far as I'm concerned, he needs to own this shutdown. It's on him. It's not on anybody else.
That's right. Well, we have video, I believe, in which he proudly says he will own it. So there you have it. Hey, thank you. Appreciate the call, Kristen.
Oh, sure, no problem. You ladies have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Bye. Bye-bye. All right, we got another caller here. Hello.
Oh, hey, I think it's me, is it?
Yes, it's you.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I was just listening, and I'm quickly online looking. I'm tired of just, excuse the language, bullshit. This whole thing that there's no precedent for giving airtime or not giving airtime, bullshit. And I'm looking it up. I heard online today. In 2014, Obama asked for airtime on an immigration speech, and he was denied.
By all the networks.
Airtime.
That is correct.
So there is precedent here, and the precedent is, no, we think it's political, and we're not giving you any airtime. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
We need facts.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Thank you. I appreciate that. 2014, I saw that too. President Barack Obama asked for network airtime interestingly, on the subject of immigration. And they turned him down. And yet this one gets the time. It's just amazing. The squeaky wheel, the brat gets.
He's totally bamboozled everybody by being a brat.
Right,
and that's how you do it. If you refuse to play by the rules, then the rules don't work. I mean, I know that seems obvious, but this is what is staring us in our face, that he refuses to play by those rules. So we need to stop being surprised that's what he's going to do, and anything that is done in response will be used against you.
You know, a million miles away, yesterday, the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, who's also in big trouble with a bunch of criminal investigations heading his way, he announced that he was giving a national speech on a very, he built it up into a big to-do. The Israeli media was freaking out. What's he going to do? Is he going to do something extraordinary? Is he going to resign? Is he going to blah, 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 blah? So he gets the airtime, and what does he do? He does a Trump. He talks about the grievance. It's just a grievance, and people are, not being nice to me, and I will win in the end. And it had nothing to do with anything. And this is why I'm bringing this up. One, I mean, it didn't go well. He didn't get any good press for it at all. People said it's clear this guy looks like he's scared.
Right.
And the wonderful thing is one of the Israeli networks pulled the plug on him as soon as it became clear that he wasn't delivering what he had said he was going to do. They pulled the plug. I doubt that we'll see such a thing. Yeah, I doubt that we'll see such a thing here. But way to go. The sad thing that is in the news today is that for the first time in 25 years, which is the quarter century that she has served on the Supreme Court, Ruth Bader Ginsburg did not show up for oral arguments yesterday. So even the most extraordinary, tough broad that we know couldn't do it. Damn it.
Well, you know what? Thank goodness she sat down and stayed home and gave herself a chance. hopefully in the interest of her being able to go on.
Yeah.
If not, I, for one, am not going to flog this poor woman to death.
Right.
And it's not her job to keep us from this. And
right.
I'm just this is one of the times when I say thoughts and prayers. I'm praying my butt off, and I'm thinking real hard. But stay home, Ruth.
Yeah.
She's working from. I am under no illusion that she's not lying there reading and listening.
Oh, no.
The tapes,
She's incapable of it. She's lying in bed and she's working.
That would not be restful. Yeah, that would not be restful for her.
No, she'd be losing her mind. Yeah. Damn.
Speaking of which, our mother and I went to see the On the Basis of Sex the other day.
Oh, really? I've sort of had it with all the video. I thought the documentary.
We were both very ho-hummy about it.
Yeah, I think the documentary is the best thing.
It's not that good a movie,
and
the documentary was much better.
Right.
This is and then they have I'm not going to say, but it's just there are things about it that just irritate.
Okay, I'm willing to bet the same. I just want to say the same. I'm willing to bet will be said about the Mr. Rogers Hollywood movie that's coming out with Tom Hanks, as opposed to the documentary that was done about him, Won't You Be My Neighbor? The documentary was wondrous. I don't think the Hollywood version is going to play as well, and I'm not surprised that...
the whole thing is you don't need the Hollywood version.
No, that's right.
You can't improve on what was.
Exactly right. And it's not as if you don't have the video to do an extraordinary documentary with in both instances. So Hollywood always trying to make a buck when the reality and the archive that exists and the real human being, and in this case one who's still alive, is just way, way, way better than some dramatic account. It's unnecessary. So I agree.
Honestly, the only thing I got from it was what a miracle it was that she found her husband.
Oh, that man. Oh, I want him.
Because that man.
Oh.
And and this is clearly the truth about him.
Yeah.
Took such joy.
Right.
In her brilliance. And it was clearly the most self-confident of men himself.
Right.
Knew his value, knew his mind, knew his worth, was not threatened by her.
Right.
Had a wonderful career himself, but his greatest joy was clearly her and her success.
I just want to say, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the luckiest person in the universe. And let's raise a glass to Marty Ginsburg, who might well be the most selfless, wondrous husband in the universe. Marty Ginsburg, ladies and gentlemen. God bless him.
I think he just loved her.
But it was more than that, as you say, because he also was secure in himself.
Yes.
Right?
He was really a rather incredible, wondrous human being in his own right.
At a time when it wasn't done, he could take on all the feminine duties that the wife was to do and have no problem with it at all. And he was not a doormat. He was funny. He was wondrous. And yet, as you say, he just loved her. To be so loved. Wow. Wow. Ruth. We have another caller. Susan, we have a call. Hello.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hey, I was just going to say that nobody could play Mr. Rogers. He was a unique person. And,
right.
Tom Hanks would be the last person I would pick. He might as well pick a ham sandwich. And to me, Tom Hanks, I don't like him, man. Never did. I just don't like him. And he'd be the last person But I'm like you. Hollywood always has to jump on that money wagon to make a buck on bios of people, which they do terrible jobs most of the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I hear you.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Goodbye.
Yeah. You know, the historical ones work better because we don't know those.
That's right. That's right. But to do the
So the-
real-time
so-
ones,
so, You know, right. Watch, you know, Elizabeth and Mary, or you know, or watch because that's at least fun, and you can accept someone else's vision as readily as you can, you know,
Exactly.
accept your own. So
Yeah.
that makes more sense. But when you're, you know, two things: when your own memory is there, first of all, and second of all, when, as you say, all the documentation is there, why not let these incredible people tell their own incredible stories?
There you go. Well, I'm glad we're in agreement. And I just want to remind everybody what happened to the fire alarm drill. Remember back in the day? Remember 2018 when it used to happen right on the dot, 10 a.m. Jeez. Barbara, you have to stop sending me these depressing things. Barbara has sent me this. She says, how about this headline? Okay, I'll share it. Report, it says, Catholic Church knew priests were raping nuns in India for decades.
Yeah, I read that a while ago.
That's a
I think I
AP
actually-
report. Yeah.
Yeah,
The nuns told of
I even commented on that.
Yeah. Drunk old priests waking nuns in the dead of night, forcing themselves upon them. Nuns afraid to report their sexual assaults for fear of being ostracized and blamed. Oh, God. The report says the Vatican has long been aware of nuns sexually abused by priests and bishops in Asia, Europe, South America, and Africa, but has done very little to stop it. And so the AP went and looked at a single country, India. And, all right. Let's talk about something happier. I don't know.
Go ahead. I dare you.
Okay.
Think of something happy.
Okay, I got one. It's about a restaurant in New Hampshire. Did you hear about it? No.
No.
Oh, good. Ha ha. First of all, it's a Vietnamese restaurant, and you know, in Vietnamese restaurants you have something called, well, I've always said pho, P-H-O.
Oh, I do know this.
Yeah? P-H-O, pho?
It's pho.
Pho, but it's pronounced
it's
pho.
pho.
I didn't know it was pronounced pho. But
Yeah, it's
here's
pho.
the thing.
Yeah.
So this restaurant just opened, and it opened in the city of Keene, Keene, New Hampshire, in the city hall. So the city hall had a little space for a restaurant in it, and they opened up, and they put up their sign, and that's when the trouble started, because it said, coming soon, Pho, P-H-O, Keene, the city name, King, Pho King, King, right? That's it. Pho King.
Fucking
No,
King.
Pho Keene Great. No, I don't know. Pho King. Pho King. Yeah. And the city manager went nuts and said the sign has to be taken down. And meanwhile, everybody has decided to, I don't know where it stands now, but apparently there are restaurants all over the country that have stuff like that. There's Pho Real in Silver Spring, Maryland. There's Forever Yum in Colorado. There's a lot of Pho Kings.
Of course.
And fucking delicious in L.A.
And that's predicated on the fact that they're assuming that we folk don't know how to pronounce.
Like
it,
I
so
don't,
it's Pho
right?
King.
But even if you say
Right,
pho,
like Dairy,
it comes
like Dairy Queen. It's Pho King.
yeah,
But,
but
no, it's fucking.
it's fucking. So if there's a food truck in Washington that's called What the Pho. Apparently. So, and people are now totally behind the restaurant. And people are saying the only thing the city of Keene needs more than a great pho place is a sense of humor. So there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pho Keene Great. Pho Keene Great, that's what it's called. Pho Keene Great restaurant.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't work here because it would be Pho Pittsburgh. You know, that doesn't do it. But if you got Keene.
I hope the pho lives up to it.
Yeah, I hope it's good stuff. Who the hell knows? Okay, Susan, this is the kind of story that has always puzzled the hell out of me. This one, it actually is more horrific, and I'm sure you might have heard of it. But, you know, these stories you hear when a woman, suffering from, abdominal cramps, is taken to the hospital and delivers an 8-pound baby, right? And she says, I didn't know I was pregnant. And her husband says, I didn't know she was pregnant. And everybody around her says, she had a baby? I've never understood how the hell that happens. Seriously. But this one is particularly unbelievable because this involves a woman who for a decade has been in a vegetative state.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yeah. In a healthcare facility in Phoenix, where she receives round-the-clock care, taking care of every aspect of her being. So one day they find her moaning, didn't know it was wrong, and they didn't know it was wrong until pretty much a baby was coming out of her. Now, explain to me how the hell that is. First of all, we know that
it's a rape.
Obviously, she was raped. But how is a woman who is under constant medical care not found to be pregnant?
Well, what are you looking for?
Well, I mean,
you're assuming that there were regular signs of everything, regular menstrual. You don't know any of that.
Well, what about her stuff? What about the sheet that she's covered with all of a sudden, going up? You know what I mean? She's lying on her back, and all of a sudden, the silhouette is different. I just don't understand.
No, I know. Well,
I've never, ever understood it. Now, how do you find the guy? Well, clearly you do what? A DNA test on the baby.
Yeah.
And then what? Do you force all the men in the facility?
I would order every single man in the place to give up a sample. You bet I would.
Voluntarily.
I don't know whether it's legal. I would ask for volunteers first, and then I go after the people that didn't.
Uh-huh. Although that might bring up some, the ACLU might be on that as a invasion of privacy.
No, I'm sure there are constitutional issues, but and now we can zero in on, especially when they know they can certainly ask for a list of employees without even asking for the DNA test. But in this age of familial DNA, we already know of several cold cases that have been solved by honing in on through families.
Yeah.
So now we're starting with a known list of possibles, and you can just go back through there. You can just start a much smaller search, and you'd probably find someone fairly immediately. I would be worried if I were this person.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure this person is worried, without a doubt. Despicable person. Do you see the son of a bitch French TV star and author? He said in a magazine article, actually the Marie Claire magazine, he said, by the way, he's 50 years old. And he said it was not possible for him to make love to a woman 50 or older. And he said women in their 50s were invisible to him. He went on to say, listen, Susan, I prefer younger women's bodies. That's all. End of. The body of a 25-year-old woman is extraordinary. The body of a woman of 50 is not extraordinary at all. And he went on to say he preferred to date Asian women, particularly Koreans, Chinese, and Japanese. It's perhaps sad and reductive, he says, for the women I go out with, but the Asian type is sufficiently rich, large, and infinite for me not to be ashamed. What the fuck? Susan?
I'm just shocked that Mary Claire is publishing this.
Well, they did. It's the French edition.
Well, so that's part of that's part of their culture, and that's apparently just fine with those women.
Not according to the outrage that has occurred as a result.
Well, then good.
Although the way some women, like another journalist who's a woman who's 52, put, I assume, her naked backside on her Instagram account and said, voila, the buttocks of a woman age 52. What an imbecile you are. You don't know what you're missing, you and your tiny, paunchy brain. You know, that's not the right response.
No.
But, you know, women, and we have noted this before, that women of a certain age, and Susan and I are certainly in that age group, have often remarked how all of a sudden, I mean, the first time you notice it, you're sort of stunned, but then you cease to be stunned by it. How you note that you clearly are invisible. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I count on it actually. I sort of like.
You get to go stealth.
You know,
yeah.
I've given up on the tyranny of makeup, or
yeah.
or I'm clean. But I don't go out of my way to bedazzle myself for a lot of reasons. One of which is because I think I actually, at this age, look better with less makeup. It doesn't.
No, I think
look
it's true.
Nice on
yeah,
me.
yeah.
No, but I've also experienced the exact opposite. I mean, I had a waiter gift a friend of mine in Chicago and me 2 glasses of wine at lunch right before I left to come out here, and I looked at her and I said, "Do you think that means we're cute?" We're so old, we're cute now.
You're drinking at lunch? Hello? We have a call, Suze.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Hey, Lynn, it's Mike in D.C.
Hi, Mike.
That guy and the Frenchman, I guess he's French.
Yeah.
He has a fetish. That's what it's
clearly,
called.
Clearly, it sounds like he has a fetish.
He likes women in quotation marks, between this age and that age, and it's his fetish, and he's trying to justify it as something other than that. It's just his fetish. It's the only way he can get it up. And so the problem isn't that he is inadequate, meaning he can only get it up for this small portion of the population or of available women. The problem is that the women are the problem because they're the problem.
I get it.
No, you're the problem, dude. You can't get it up except if it's an Asian woman between 20 and 25.
Right.
By the way, stereotypically, they look more like boys than non-Asian women. And I'd love to be his therapist to talk about that one, too.
Well done. I thank you. Well done.
Freak.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Bye. Bye. Good. Paul writes, obviously, he's when we were talking about the Vietnamese restaurant. I listen at work with earbuds, and you and Susan have me laughing out loud, and people are running to my office to see what's wrong.
Tell him he's laughing probably at a really high volume.
Yeah. Thanks for making my day. Yeah, he's laughing louder than he realized.
Right.
Lucy says there was a Law and Order SVU episode a while back that had a similar storyline about a woman getting pregnant. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably happened before. Jesus Christ. Let me see. Wait a minute. I thought. Oh, Susan. I want.
Yes.
Because I know you're able to do. We have another caller. Can two girls from Green Bay get a word in edgewise here? Great. We got a caller. Hello.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's me.
Yeah, I knew it was. I just knew it.
Happy New Year.
Same to you. Same to everybody.
Thank you.
Happy New Year's. When you were talking about, you reached a certain age and then, you realize, things change.
Yeah.
It's happened to me.
Aww.
In the opposite direction.
Oh, brother.
This is why I hesitate to bring it up.
Yes, men get more attractive, you assholes. Yeah.
And when I was younger, I thought, get the hell out of here. And now I'm an old guy with a graying beard. I'm like, what the hell?
It's
I
true.
noticed it.
Nah, you're hot.
It's really. What's that?
You're hot.
Yeah, well, and I always think it's like, young girls with daddy issues or something. There's that old wise guy. I noticed
my brother suggests it's because secretly they think you're harmless.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because he notices, girls pawing at him, and they think he's fair game because he won't paw back. I think.
Yeah, well, that's definitely definitely that way with me. But I also noticed that years ago with another regular caller who was a tall, graying guy.
All right.
And young girls. Yeah, and I thought it was weird then. And now that I've become that guy, it's weird now. I don't get it. And I really do think it's that the old wise. You look at every old wise guy in mythology and history. It's always some guy with a graying beard, and or a gray beard. And to me, I think it's and I think your brother has a point too. There's a harmlessness. Instead of some young guy always I don't know, pawing at you, when the older guys are more harmless and delicate and understanding.
I think it's true. I mean, I think maybe I, too, will be more flirtatious with an older man because I figure, come on, you ain't doing anything and neither am I, right? So it's...
Yeah.
But...
Man, is this planet unfair or what? Also, that whole older women with no makeup. I wish every older woman in the world would understand that.
Yeah.
You can't wear that type of. If I see one more woman in her 50s or 60s trying to do that eyebrow thing that the young girls are doing.
What are they doing?
painting those black eyebrows on. Or those really.
I don't think that looks good on anybody.
What are they doing? I don't know what you're talking about. What are they doing?
They're taking a magic marker, the broad side, and just drawing a line across their foreheads. Wouldn't you say, Clarence?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But actually, you can go to a beautician and get that done. They trim your eyebrows to perfection, and then they actually use stencils. And sometimes, either paint or airbrush your eyebrows on. Mm-hmm. That's calling your eyebrows are on fleek. That's the term.
You know what, though? I have to tell you, I have noticed some, and like Hollywood types start, and it does. It looks painted on. It looks totally false. It's weird looking.
Mm-hmm.
That's how out of it
I think
I am.
these eyebrows are the mullets of the future.
Right.
God. So how are
So
you
anyway.
so up on this, women's, what's going on in women's makeup, Clarence?
He looks at faces for a living.
Ah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
She saved you. Yeah, she saved you.
That's exactly it. Yeah, and I remember when my niece had taught me the on fleek word, and I'm drawing two young girls. They were in their teens, and I said, "Your eyebrows are on fleek," and they go, "Oh, thank you." They were shocked that I said it, and it was like a shock, a surprise, like, I don't know. They really felt complimented when I said that their eyebrows were on fleek. But that was 2 years ago, so I don't even know if the word's still.
It's probably moved on.
It only applied to eyebrows. You couldn't say, your lipstick is on fleek. It was only eyebrows, very specific, and nobody knows where the term came from.
God.
The internet. So.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I've always been up on. I have 6 sisters.
Right.
I was reading Glamour magazine and Cosmopolitan as an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
So I was always up at on women's fashion and all that stuff. I used to be really good at it.
Yeah. And shocking that you're a bachelor.
I'll die a bachelor. That's just not going to happen. Even, my best friend is a woman, a married woman. She's my best friend.
Sure.
And so we always talk about. I said, yeah, I'm going out. I said, yeah, I'm going out as a bachelor. There's just no possible way I can have anybody live with me. I'm so set in my ways. I can't. Definitely not. By bachelor, you mean not married, right?
Yeah, I don't mean a monk.
Yeah.
I didn't call you a monk. I said a bachelor.
Yeah. Well, you're a bachelorette or whatever that's
Yes,
called.
I am. Yes, I am. It's called a spinster. It's
We're gonna come up with a man.
Yeah.
Come up with a man that never gets married.
Yeah, right. It's I mean, all those terms for women are always negative, right?
A man that doesn't get married and that hasn't been married is simply still available.
Ah, there you go. Still
You're
available.
never off the market.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. As you're
I
finding
guess
out.
5 years ago, you would have said gay, right?
Right. Well,
That
that's
the man is
true.
Probably gay.
He's probably gay.
But now
That's
gay
true.
men could get married, so that's gone.
Right. Can't use that one.
I think
You don't know how many
yeah.
people have thought that I was gay. I know women's fashion. I'm relatively neat. I put creases in my jeans, for goodness sake.
Oh my God.
Well, that does it.
The guy has to be gay.
Funny.
Oh, by the way, okay, this is the last thing. When Queer Eye for the Straight Guy first came out, my 2 lesbian sisters called us separate times. They said, "Clarence, we know what you are." I'm like, "What are you talking about? You're a metrosexual." Yeah, I was metrosexual before metrosexual was cool.
You were. Yeah.
You were.
You're
Wow.
the archetype.
Yeah, you might be.
Yeah.
You might have started it all. Who the hell knows? Jeez. Way to go,
Yeah,
Clarence.
when you grew up with 6 sisters. What's that?
Way to go. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what's the thing with the eyebrows? It's what's the word?
Fleek.
Oh,
Fleek.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that's sleek. That you're so cool.
Thank you.
No, that's precisely wrong, but okay.
Why do you mean it's precisely wrong?
It only applies to eyebrows.
All
only
right.
applies to eyebrows.
Okay, but you know what's...
By the way, Sam is. I have a funny feeling your son is on a way to living a life of Clarence.
Yeah.
Does he have a girlfriend?
I would be the last to know.
Hey. Isn't this a HIPAA violation or something? The boy deserves some privacy. Excuse me, the man.
Yeah, this is true.
But I don't think so, Clarence.
Listen, I'm not saying a word here. I'm not saying a word.
Okay.
Because
Okay, sorry, Sam.
Okay. But sleek, I just want to point out, is a spinach dish, isn't it?
What?
Sleek. You ordered in a
Sleek?
mid-eastern restaurant. Sleek,
have no idea.
Sleek. It's like greens and is good stuff. Sleek, I'm telling you, I've ordered it.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
There you go. Look it up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think
I'm
it's
sorry. One more thing. I was talking to Tom. You remember him, sissy white liberal?
Yes, of course.
And I told him that you called me a polymath one time, and then I had to ask you what that was. And I thought that was funny.
It is funny. All right, you know it all.
Okay.
Out. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Jeez.
All right. I want to give you. I just Googled sleek. So
what is
the
it?
first thing that comes up is extremely good, attractive, or stylish. Like my hair is on fleek right now. So,
On sleek.
So that means that Clarence is wrong. Okay. Then the Urban Dictionary fleek says an annoying term used by annoying teenagers, see middle schoolers, meant to be on point. And then a word used by those intent on decimating the English language and further depleting the ever-dwindling repository of individuals capable of intellectual conversation.
Jesus.
It goes on.
Yeah, but nowhere does it say you can eat it. I'm serious.
No.
Well,
Fleek or not, fleek is a word worth knowing, born in a Vine video on June 21st, 2014. The term fleek is a busy word. It was originally and still is most commonly applied to perfectly groomed eyebrows. But the word has been used to describe everything from hash browns to skateboards. Okay. No, I'm not coming up with anything about...
Gigi says, sleek is a dish with black-eyed peas and kale. Yes. Good stuff. Yeah. It is. It's so good. Because it's like beans and greens, only Mideastern. Sleek. I'm telling you. Black-eyed peas and usually kale. Yeah.
I'm telling you that I haven't, okay.
It exists.
Sleek food.
It exists. I've eaten it.
Because if you just do
I've
sleek.
eaten it on on Forbes Avenue in Squirrel Hill.
No, now I'm getting more meal prep on sleek recipes.
Thank you. There you go. It's good. Actually, I should learn how to make it because I really like it. And it'd be easy. It's greens and beans, right? Oh, Susan.
What?
Researchers.
I'm looking up fleek recipes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Research. Wait. Sleek comes from Milton. He sent me a recipe. Oh, man, thanks. Kale, onion, couscous, garlic, black-eyed peas or black beans, and lemon. What could go wrong?
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Send me the recipe.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, this from the science section of the New York Times today. Researchers say an overstuffed and scattered household can lead to increased stress. A cluttered home is a stressful home. It also says that people who procrastinate are more often likely to have a cluttered home. Well, of course. I mean, I always feel
Ergo.
I always feel such pleasure when there's a part of my kitchen counter that just is a repository, right? I can't be alone here. For you walk in the door and everyone's...
I cleaned the kitchen counters yesterday.
Right.
It was just amazing.
It's amazing. Every once in a while, you'll say, okay, I got to attack this. And most of it gets thrown away. Others belong someplace else, blah, blah, blah. And you have this totally clear thing. And then it just starts cluttering up again. But what the research shows is that clutter, especially for women, can produce a physiological response, increasing levels of stress hormones, cortisol, which of course doesn't surprised me. And it says...
No wonder I drove my daughter nuts during those years
Yeah.
we lived together.
Yeah, because you are a clutterer.
The first thing Lynn does when she comes to visit me in my home is to get in my kitchen and move everything. And I find it like 6 years later, it's so aggravating. But anyway.
Did you get it all back to where you want it? Surely you've kept.
Close.
Oh, surely you've kept the pots and pans a little more organized.
Surely I did. I'm supposed to say, don't call me Shirley.
Okay. Anyway, for some people, clutter does evoke a strong response, and it also says that people, the older you get, the more you tend to get frustrated with clutter, and I'm thinking our mother is a case in point, right?
Yeah.
What doesn't?
Imagine how I drive her nuts during.
Oh my God!
Months.
What doesn't she throw out? If something is if something is sitting anywhere for more than 20 seconds, it's gone, right? So you two are an odd couple in that way. Among older adults, clutter is associated with life dissatisfaction. So, ergo, our mother is totally satisfied with her life. She throws everything out. It only annoys her, right? So, clutter.
Right. And you can't even like finish dinner around her if
right.
she's done. And I don't eat much to begin with, but it's like I have to
guard your plate.
Grab plates back.
No, it's true. There's nothing. You even go into closets and there's nothing. She's thrown everything out. And how often does she find out that she's looking for something that she threw out?
No, or that she threw out something that I would have liked her to keep.
Well, exactly.
I wish she would have asked me first,
Right,
know.
right. But I think that's part of goes with her sort of.
To do.
It goes with her happy attitude, though. She refuses to be bogged. She doesn't want things around. Because all the doctors in this report are saying things like, most of us, what we accumulate, we do not need. Duh. Right? Right. And even though clutter is in the eye of the beholder, the fact is if we live in a materialistic age, I mean, my God, the stuff just keeps on coming in the door. Do you know, it was garbage day in my neighborhood today. And the last 2 garbage days, which have been since Christmas, it is unbelievable. I so feel for the garbage guys. It is unbelievable what is sitting outside.
It's never ending, yeah.
Boxes and boxes and boxes and this is in bags and blah, blah. It's just huge. And I walk in the dog. I get to really, see it. And I stand there in astonishment, and my dog pees on it. But it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable the shit that we consume and the garbage we create. There's something wrong with it. I'm just saying. But it keeps the economy going, I guess. Oh, God, I'm
You anti-Christmas person?
Yeah, well.
I am, too. I just, I've sort of flat out started to rebel.
It's just, it's all too much. It's too much.
Well, it's too much. It is too much.
Right.
And it's, not what anyway, yes, go ahead.
I saw this thing in the Washington Post, and I thought you're the perfect person to, explain this. They said, this, I guess, Congresswoman OCS, COD, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, right?
Yeah.
Was interviewed on 60 Minutes, and she freaked a lot of people out by saying she thought the federal tax rate on incomes over 10 million should go up to 70%. And and the Washington Post article says that when people start responding to that, it is clear that they don't understand how tax brackets work.
How graduated taxes work.
They don't. And Susan, so you explain it, because they actually have a graph here where they explain, no, you don't understand. That there's no way that people should be against this kind of graduated tax. Explain it, if you would, Susan.
Right. Well, right. We all pay on graduated tax schedules, of varying degrees. The lowest tax rate being in essence 0, but then it starts going up to 10.
Well, here's
20,
I have it. It's 10%. Every one of us, if we make enough, pays 10% on the first $9,525 we make. Okay?
Right.
Then
and
anything
then
over
the next amount of money up to the next cap, which is, I believe,
12.
$20,000.
No, it's 12. There's a 12% rate, which is anything between $9,500 and $38,000. That gets taxed not at 10, but at 12%. You understand?
Right.
It's graduating.
So your first $9,000 was taxed at 10%.
10.
Now this next portion has been taxed at
12%, up to $38,700. Then that part gets taxed at 12. After then, the next taxable percentage it's 22%, and that kicks in on income between $38,700 and $82,500. Okay.
Oh, and let me just interrupt. And remember, these schedules vary according whether you're single or married filing jointly.
Right.
So those amounts and brackets, the brackets don't change. The amounts change depending on your filing status. But so to cut to the chase, what she is saying is once we have stepped our way up to
making $10 million a year. She's talking about people making $10 million. She's people who make over $10 million.
And this is after they've used all of their available dodges and whatever.
Yeah.
That amount, which still remains to be taxed, which is over $10 million, should be taxed at 70%.
Yeah.
And let me just say, there is clearly precedent for this. As a matter of fact, we went higher than that.
In the 60s and 70s.
And I, as children, when we sat at dinner and we would listen to our father sitting at the head of the round table.
Right. Which he did.
Pronounce, for every dollar you spend, I have to make 4. Well, do the math. What percentage is he paying? He's paying 80%. He has to make $4, so he's paying 75% tax bracket.
Over a certain amount of income.
Over a certain amount, and I'm here to tell you, folks, it wasn't $10 million.
No, it was nowhere near $10 million, obviously.
It was nowhere near.
Nowhere near it. It wasn't even $1 million.
It wasn't even near $1 million.
No, it wasn't even 500,000. It wasn't. I mean, but that was then, and this was at a time when the American economy was booming. It did not impact the economy, but there wasn't
and it didn't stop our father from doing business.
Very well.
And that's from whence my grandmother's most famous expression emerged, which was after listening to Dad, orate on his tax problem. Our grandmother then leaned back, took a drag off her ever-present cigarette, and said, "Well, Norman, that's a high-class problem you have."
Right. Boo-hoo-hoo. Right. So,
So what is being suggested is hardly new. We've had those rates before. The economy prospered with those rates.
Yeah.
And to the extent that she is suggesting them now, I'm suggesting that anybody that's got excess income over $10 million, can keep a portion of it. You don't need any more of that to get along every year.
How much do you effing need?
You're doing just fine. I'm not going to worry about you.
Can you imagine all the...
When we paid off some of our debt and we fixed some of our infrastructure, because how the hell do you think we paid for it? The tax rate
anybody who freaks out about this stuff is going to bat for gazillionaires. They can afford this. It's only kicking in if you already are making $10 million a year. Can you imagine what somebody making $10 million a year is worth? Can you imagine how much money they have? Jesus. All right, stop. All right, it turns out that most Americans don't get it.
By the way, Lynn, if they are making $10 million a year, they are not subject to this tax.
That's right.
It's only the dollar over $10 million that starts to be subject to this tax.
That is right. So if they make $1 over $10 million, they'd have to pay 70 cents in tax on it. Okay? Do we understand that? I hope so. Okay. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome. Now I'm going to walk my dog. He was so good.
Yes, he was so good, Ernie. You're good. Okay. Although we sort of get a bigger kick out. Too bad the fucking fire alarm didn't go off, and Ernie could have done maybe heard it and done a little, sing-along. All right.
Okay.
Give Mom a hug, and thanks.
I will.
Okay.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Bye, you guys. See you tomorrow.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.